Hey everyone, how are we doing? Happy Thursday, Haslam Friday. Who's all in the chat? It is time to get some work going here. Got a few assignments due tonight. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hi. Let's wake up Mubot here. Seeing all those announcements from UT. Who's all here? Say hey if you're here. It is time for some office hours. We got a fun-filled day. A lot of meetings tomorrow. No one's here yet. Tonight is a fantasy game. Good morning, Shaq. Good to see you here, Shaq. How's your day going? How is your day going? Oh my gosh. Whoa. That's too funny. I've taken a sneak peek at Reddit right now. Let's see right here. That is too crazy. Too much. Too much. Too much. Pretty good. Just got to eat some canes. Oh man, now I want some canes. Now I want some canes. That sounds really great. Canes is great. I'll get some canes when I go back to Tennessee. Someone posted a video, YouTube channel went and tried Raging Canes here, and they liked it. They thought it was pretty good. People talking about 3D printers, psychology, group me's, group organizations, pottery class, pottery. Oh no. Oh, it's so sad. Oh gosh. Oh my god. Oh, it's too crazy. I'm doing well, just relaxing. Looks like a more chill day, but we'll get some work done. Whatever people are wondering. Brian's just relaxing a little bit, getting some work done. But whatever people want, we can get working on assignments. You name it. Say, you know, Brian, how about we work on this assignment? How about we work on this one? We hop into it. We just do whatever work people are thinking about. And that's what we do. We get that work done. Can we work on, yeah, which one do you work on? Chapter 4 quiz what? You name it. That's all you have to do is jump on and say, Chapter 4 quiz this. And we go and we do it. Go and we do it. Coffee tastes different. Which one on the Chapter 4 quiz? Glad you're having a great day, Shaq. That's really, let's throw you some 500 points here. Make your day, why not 1,000? We're trying to make some big points this semester. Tell people day after the test is when the big points really hit. Thank you, Shaq, for being here. Make sure to start these assignments early. They're a little bit tougher this semester, I'll say that. A lot more questions. Some of them are a little tricky. We don't like tricky questions. We want questions that are straightforward. Sometimes I wish I could talk to the people who write these My Pearson questions. We even found one error. The question says, describes what the box plots tell you about the relationship between the number of cylinders a car engine has. So cylinders in a car engine, W for points for real. Car cylinders in a car engine. All right, let's go find it. Let's do it. Car engine cylinders. It's right here. I think I found it. Okay. No, where is it? There's a tricky one on grades in a class. Okay, we found it. So this is Stat 201, Chapter 4 quiz call. Okay, got that. And timestamp 6:15. Here we go. Let's do it. Okay, mention any question you have because we only have one question right now. So describe what these box plots tell you about the relationship between the number of cylinders and car engines. So what do we call this graphic right here? What is this graphic called? This is categorical, even though it's kind of quantitative, but these are categories. They're using it as a group right here. And then this is a quantitative Y variable. So we have a quantitative Y, categorical X's, and we call this graphic what? So it's categorical X's. So you want to be down here for categorical X's. And then a quantitative Y, so we call that graphic what? Those are called, and just think about it, kind of pretty much, Shaq, you're on the right track. Not just box plots, though, but side-by-side box plots. You can say box plots. Those are box plots. And then we call them side-by-side because they're side-by-side. So that's why we call it side-by-side box plots. So the reason we do this is so we can compare pretty quickly and easily the 5-number summary of multiple groups. And remember, once again, we love doing review right here and figuring out the concepts and going into great detail on them. So when we go right here, we'd put the 5-number summary, like the min, the max, the min, the max, the median, the Q3, the Q1, and over here we have a maximum again. Remember, the outliers can be maximums. And what do you notice? Now, this one right here does very little data. This is all the data in it. So that's the min. That's every single data point. The min, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the max for 5-cylinder cars, probably because there's not many. What do you notice about, whoops, meant to write min right there. What do you notice about the median as we go across these box plots? As we go across these box plots, what generally happens to the median right here? Going across these box plots, what generally happens to the median? And that's the pattern it takes. We could kind of remove it so it doesn't look so messy. That's the pattern of the median. It's decreasing, exactly. There's another value we can look at too, the value of the IQR, which is the range of the box, which the IQR is the range of the middle 50%. But if you look at these right here, we could take them over here, they go like this, going from each one. Generally speaking, the IQR is getting water. So if you look at the IQR pattern, generally speaking, if you look at that, the IQR is getting water. So the IQR is the range of the box, which is Q3 to Q1. The IQR is also what? It's also decreasing. So that kind of helps us understand what's going on right here, and I hope this graphic helps interpret how we see the IQR getting smaller. This was the smallest. The reason that exists, and that might look really, really odd to people, is when you have data right here where every data is the same point, like if everyone makes a 10 on the test, now we have 10 people who all made 10s. If you make a box plot out of this, the box will just be a line because that's just all the data. Now, if there's variation in the data, where somebody made like a 12, they'd actually be an outlier till we start to get more of a spread to the data and we start to get a IQR. So there's the IQR. We can add the 5-number summary and we can see the IQR and we can start to see the data has more variation in it, which the box plot is starting to show right here. But once again, I just want to point out that if every data point is the same, then the box plot will literally look like a line. But if we start to get data that's more spread out, you'll actually see the box of the box plot representing the IQR, and then you can see the min and the max, but always remember maximums can be outliers. Ooh, that's not an outlier. Maximums can be outliers like that right there. Does that make sense, Shaq? And hopefully seeing this right here. Hey, Taylor, great to see you here. We just finished off a question, but we were just talking about how box plots can just be a singular line if all the data is in one spot. If Brian could write 10 repeatedly, box plots can look like this. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, why has we got that data point down there? Oh, haha. So there you go. All the box plots. Jackson, good to see you here too. Box plots can look super weird if all your data is just one line right there. So if it starts to change, we can start to see where the values are starting to now create a box, and you can start to see where the IQR is. There's the maximum. And remember, the max is the range of the data. So really good review question right here. Just showing us that the box plot shows the number of cylinders increase, fuel economy tends to decrease, and also they become less variable. So that should do it right there. Really good question. And this, I think, I'm glad how we drew this out right here, showing the IQR is getting smaller, showing the median generally dropping down. What questions should we do? That's one question down. Let's knock out some more questions. Ooh, time for questions. Ooh, time for questions. What do we got next? You name it, we do it. Drop those questions in the chat. What shall we do? Seeing right here, Pokemon. It says, which of the following is not necessarily an outlier? Which of the following is not necessarily an outlier? Stat 201, Chapter 4 Quiz. Which of the following is not necessarily an outlier? In a way, box plots are like histograms. Oh, the opposite. Yeah, we did. Awesome. We got that one coming up next. Sir Taylor, you got it. Remember, drop these questions anytime. You can drop multiple questions because we have 2 more. And okay. We got the next 2 questions right here. Let me find them right here. I think we got another one. To help travelers know what to expect. Thank you so much. We got 3 questions lined up. Nice and neat right there. And there we go. So we got... Here's the histogram of assets. We need to find... There's one about a class of 4th graders. That one's a little deceptive on the end. Because you have to know a weighted average. Which of the following? Sugar. Wish I could search through them. I just found the help travelers. There's 2 versions of that, it looks like. We did one like... Wait, that's commodities. Here we go. Which of the following not necessarily an outlier? Should be a quick one. Let's do it. Okay, we're talking about outliers here, and when would things not be outliers? Okay, so let's talk over the theory. The maximum value in a data set. Well, we were doing some really good theory on this over here. I'd like for you to look at this. Is that maximum value in my data set an outlier right there? Just look at it visually and just say yes or no. Is that maximum value an outlier? The maximum value is 56. Is that an outlier? Yes. And then you know it because it's a dot in the box plot. So the dots are outliers. How about now? Is the maximum value an outlier now? So look, now think about it. Is the maximum value in this data set an outlier? So we're showing it visually and we're explaining why. No. So which of the following is not... I think we just found the answer to it. I was going to go through all of them. A number which is more than 1.5 IQRs below the ends of the box plots. That's literally the definition of what an outlier is in a box plot. Is 1.5 IQRs above Q3 and 1.5 IQRs below Q3 is where we put our fences for where outliers begin and end. So that's where we have outliers. The literal definition right here of where the fences are at are 1.5 IQRs above Q3 and 1.5 IQRs below Q1. So that is where outliers are. You don't see the fences at the end of it, but that's where outliers would begin, is outside the fences. So that's the literal definition. An extreme value that doesn't belong to the rest of the data. I mean, you could say, well, what does extreme mean? But they're talking about something very, very far away. So yes, that's what I was leaning toward. No worries. Thank you so much for asking that. I bet someone else was wondering. Good question right there. Let's find the next one. The next question is, in a way, box plots are the opposite. I would never say that. I'd never say they're the opposite. They just show different stuff. They achieve different goals. Okay, so here we go. In a way, box plots are kind of the opposite of a histogram. A histogram divides it up evenly, so these need to be evenly divided up. Make sure that's true for your histograms, especially for some of these questions. A box plot's going to show you the 5-number summary. So if I had to tell you why we use box plots, why we use histograms, histograms give you a better idea of the shape of a distribution. You can see better where a modality is. You can see a little tiny extra sort of area in here, where the box plot shows you the concentrations of data between the min, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the max. You can tell the right skew in the box plot over here because it's pulled out towards the high side. There's 3 outliers, which show up here in the histogram. The heights of the bars in the histogram tell you the amount of observations, where in a box plot, you can see the literal dots, so it might be easier to see. I don't know if we can add... We've got our box plot over here that we've just been working with to show what it looks like, but if there were multiple outliers over here, you can see that there's 2, where with a histogram... Let's go back to the graph builder really quick. Where is it? Show control panel. With the histogram, you'd actually need to see the height of the bar. So if you see right here, the height of the bar represents 2. It's a sideways histogram. You can put them on their side like that. Where here, there's the 2 dots. Here, the height of the bar represents the amount of observations. And you can see the 2 dots I've highlighted there. So understanding, we get a little bit better idea with the histogram. Whoops, that's not the histogram. Here's the histogram. of the modal area inside of here. Of course, the bins can be changed so that the values look very different. I think there we go. That's changing that. It kind of changes it. I wanted to change the bins. I don't know how to, there we go. You see, it is changing the bins. There we go. So it's changing the bins right there for me, which I'm not saying to do that, but you could always change the bins in the histogram to make it look different, and it makes the data look different. Box plots are not really going to change when you move them around because it's just a box right there, which doesn't have bins. So there's some subjectivity to the way the histogram is drawn. Depending on how you divide up your bins evenly, the data will fall into the bins differently. Explain how you could tell by looking at the box plot where the tallest bar on the histogram would be. Well, remember, this is where 25% of the data is at. So literally, there is the same amount of data within here, this little tiny area, as there is here. Where am I at in the data right here? This first question mark, so answer in the chat. Where am I at in the data? At that question mark, I've gone through what percent of the data? At that question mark on the box plot, I've gone through what percent of the data? At that question mark, I've gone through what percent of the data? At that question mark, I've gone through what percent of the data? See if people know in the chat. So I'm at that question mark right there. Not 20. I have a good answer, Shaq. I'm glad I asked that. 100 points. Not 25, but 75, because that's the top of the box plot. So that's the 75th percentile. You're at the top of the data. So you see over here, this is the top of the data. So that's the top, and this is the 100th percentile right here. That's 100. We've gone through 100% at that point. So down here at the bottom, it's hard to see, but this is, well, not there. The bottom of the box right here is the 25th percentile. And down here is the very start, the minimum value. Now, this is the median right here, so that's the 50th percentile, but the box of the box plot is the middle 50%. So what you'll notice is, if we remove out a lot of our, didn't mean to click that. If we remove out a lot of the unnecessary stuff inside of here, you can tell that from the 25th to the 0 to 25th percent is a much more compact. That's why we see all the data inside of here very compact, versus over here it's very spread out. This is the same amount of data. Like both of these right here have the same amount of data. It's just that at the start it's more compact, versus over here it's more spread out along the number line. So that's what they're getting at right there, is where we can tell the skew nature of it. So the areas inside, there we go, the bars are for the histograms. The area inside the box plot where the two vertical dividers are closest together will likely contain the tallest bars. Exactly. So the two vertical lines right here telling us, and the vertical lines indicate to you min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. Watch out. That is not the max right there. Be very careful, and they should specify that. That's a whisker. Explain how both the box plot and the histogram indicate a skewed distribution. So the histogram is your number one way to tell shape, because you just look at it. And once again, we have to reiterate, right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the monster man's tail goes. So when we go right here, we draw our histogram. There's monster man sticking his tongue out today. What you doing? Look at me. So there is the monster man's tail, but additionally, you can tell by the spread of the quartiles that the quartiles are more pulled out to the right. They're more compact at the start of it, and then there's more distance between the upper quartiles, the 75th to the 100th, the maximum value. There's more of a spread on that. So that helps us identify right there that the upper portions of the data are more pulled to the right, and so you can see the skew in the box plot also. I don't love looking at skew with box plots. I prefer to look at the histogram to look at shape. Explain. So both the box plot indicates a skew because the box plot indicates skew because the min, first quartile, and median occur within a small data range. That is true. Min, Q1, and median occur within a small data range, while the spans between the median thirds are much larger. The histogram indicates a skew because since the tallest bars are on the left side. I think that's right. That could, but yeah, it's better to look at this, not just because there's outliers. It's better to look at the distances between those. They get a little iffy in their answers because of box plot, because there are outliers on the right tail. but better yet to look at the spreading of the quantiles right there. Identify one feature of the distribution that the histogram shows, but the box plot does not. So once again, the modality inside of here and the little peak is going to be easier to see. The histogram, it's not roughly uniform. The histogram shows the location of the median. No, that's the box plot. The histogram shows that a very large number of values occur in the smallest bin right here. We can see how many values there are. So you actually get a count of how many observations there are right there. Identify one feature of the distribution that the box plot shows, but the histogram does not. Box plot shows median. So good stuff. There we go. Good stuff. Question done. And make sure to know how to analyze and look at the data. We only have one more question. We have knowing what travelers are going to expect right here, which was somewhere inside of here. So we only have one more question to help travelers. And is there two versions of this? There's two versions. So let's do each version of this to help travelers know what to expect. So this is our last question. The company that sells frozen pizza. Ooh, frozen pizza. Now we got another one. Okay, so let's do this question right here. Drop out that time. 23:13. Here we go. To help travelers know what to expect, researchers collect the price of commodities in 101 countries throughout the world. The accompanying box plots compare the average prices of water, eggs, and a loaf of bread in 100 countries. Complete parts A through B. So we get side-by-side box plots again. Side-by-side box plots. Charlie, so good to see you here. Let's throw out some 500 points. Charlie, so good to see you. Thank you for swinging by. Hope your semester's going well. No, you're not graduated, are you, Charlie? Are you? I'm trying to think. So in general, which commodity is the most expensive? So general is talking about medians. So water, eggs, or bread. General is going to be like, it does say on average, but I wish it said like the typical or median value. Is it water, eggs, or bread? Awesome. Well, oh, sorry. We'll just keep asking questions. I know we got some people on the Discord. Maybe you could always be in the general chat. I know a few people are on the Discord like asking questions. But yeah, we support people like reaching out and asking for help. So yeah. Which of these has a higher median? Water, eggs, or bread? Water, eggs, or bread? Median. Median is always the line in the middle of the box plot. It can sometimes overlap Q3 and Q1, but it doesn't in this instance. It is eggs. Great job, Leah. Good to see you here. So we have right here that on average, the eggs are kind of the median because the median is higher. So that gives us an indication right here that eggs are the highest. These prices are from the same countries, but can you tell whether eggs are more expensive than water in all countries? Oh, yeah. This is a question that got us yesterday, right? So eggs right here. You can tell that eggs are more expensive than water in all countries. No. No, you cannot tell whether eggs are more expensive than water in all countries. The price of eggs and waters overlaps. No, you cannot tell whether eggs is more expensive than water in all countries. The box plots do not show how many of each commodities is in each quartile. No, I think we're looking right here. Yes, you can tell that eggs is more Yes, you can tell that eggs are not more expensive. Wait, see, that's even wrongly worded. Awesome, Leo. Yeah, I'll reply back. Awesome. If you want message on Discord, I'm a little quicker on Discord, but I'll reply back to the email here. Yes, you can tell that eggs are not more expensive than water in all countries. The prices of all three items overlap. All three items. Well, that's true. No, you cannot tell whether eggs are more expensive than water in all countries. The prices of eggs and water overlap. I mean, really? The wording on that is just, they're not talking about all three. We go for the specific answer. It's just hard to tell. Eggs and waters overlap, so we really don't know which one is more expensive where. But the maximum eggs is more expensive, generally speaking. But yeah, I would not word our test questions like that. Not a huge fan of the way that one's worded. Same sort of question right here. I got a few more outliers over here on the egg side of things. In general, which commodity is the most expensive? Same thing going on right here, and it is going to be eggs again. Is a carton of eggs always more expensive than a bottle of water? This is the one. Carton of eggs, always more expensive than a bottle of water. Let's see right here. It is not possible to tell. With this right here, the box plot does not show how many of each commodity. Let's see here. No, some of the prices of water are above the minimum price. Yeah. I think right here. No, some of the prices of water. Some of the prices of water are above some of the prices of eggs, so it's not always more expensive. That one, I'm not happy with the way this one goes because it is possible to pair them up, but don't answer that. That one tricked us yesterday, so we're not gonna answer that. But understanding this right here, they're talking about. I think they're talking about in general. They're just saying, is a carton of eggs always more expensive? Well, you've got the instance right here where eggs is right here. I wish they just said, and they do say it, some of the prices of water are above the minimum price of eggs. So right here is the minimum price of eggs, and then there's prices above. So water is not always more expensive. And they're not talking about if you go to a country. They're just asking in general right here, is eggs always more expensive than water? And the answer is no. There are prices of water in some countries. It should say, are there instances of countries that have higher prices of water than prices of eggs in other countries? And yes, there are instances where water is more expensive than eggs would be. Is a carton of eggs always more expensive than a loaf of bread? No. So is a carton of eggs? No. Same sort of idea right here. No. The high outliers of bread are above the weight. Is a carton of eggs ever more expensive than a loaf of bread? Yes. Yes. And that right there, that highest point is always going to be more expensive. Yes, there are several egg prices that are beyond all the bread prices. So this one right here. So yes, all the egg prices are above the bread prices. Right here, like this bread price right here is not above all of them. Good answers, Leah, right there. This one's going to be C because there are several prices that are above the highest price of bread. So is a carton of eggs ever more expensive than a loaf of bread? And I wish they said for like a specific country. That should be right there. This is a tricky one. The way it's worded could be improved upon a little bit. Which ones are you wondering about, Leah? Did you have a 201 question via which one are you wondering about in terms of which class and which thing you're wondering about? Is there a specific question you wanted to work on right here? Let me know. We'll head back here to the main screen. I think, do we have one more. The company that sells frozen pizzas. Got another one right here. Frozen pizzas. Let me know which question you're working on. Company selling frozen pizzas right here. Frozen pizzas. Hey, Brian, a little more trouble on the graphic to show the decrease in car loan over time. Making the graphic? Mm-hmm. You bet. So BES 474. Homework 2, making graphics. Look at that here next. Got some frozen pizza coming up. I found it. Here we go with the company selling frozen pizzas. Let's go check it out. Okay, we got a company selling frozen pizzas. Oh my gosh, going over here. We're back. So now we have 4 different cities, it looks like, right here. We've got Baltimore, Dallas, Chicago, and Denver. Couldn't read it right. I thought I said delivery or something. So with these, we're looking at side-by-side box plots for the data. And if we take a look at right here, only a few of them have outliers. So we've got outliers here in Chicago, a very low price for it. Where Baltimore has a few outliers, but not as extreme. Hey, Canvas content? Yeah, let's do Canvas content after this. Of course, Leah, you got it. And then up here, we've got Dallas with a high outlier. So Dallas has a high outlier. Baltimore has a few low outliers. This is an extreme outlier that is 3 IQRs below. Still just an outlier. I don't add stars to mine, but that's a more extreme outlier there on the Chicago side. So that just means it's super far away. As the other outliers are far away to be outliers, that's an extreme outlier down there. Denver does not have outliers, and the other ones do have outliers. So do prices appear to be the same? No, Baltimore's higher. Dallas, Chicago, Denver are about the same. So what I'm looking at right here is these are about the same, but Baltimore's a little bit higher. So let's see which coincides with the answer. No, prices appear to be both higher on average and more variable in Baltimore than the 3 other cities. Yes. because Baltimore has a bigger IQR also. So Baltimore right here has a bigger IQR, which is more variability compared to the other ones. These look pretty similar, save the outliers. So I think the first one is actually going to be the answer right there. Lower in Denver? No. Prices appear to be lower in Chicago? No. They don't appear to be the same. So it looks to me Baltimore's higher and has more variability. Does the presence of an outlier affect your overall conclusions about the prices in the 4 markets? Chicago. Yes, Chicago's outlier brings its average price down below the average price of the other cities. That is going to be Chicago's outliers, good, plural. Yeah, it's got extreme outliers about the prices. So Chicago's outliers, that's going to be the presence of outliers does not affect things. BA is 474. I'm able to get the amount owed to decrease correctly outside the while loop, but can't get it to work inside. I think the problem is my function, but not sure. You might need to message me, Colin. You might need to send it to me. 50%? The outliers are going to impact our decision. So the first one. No, prices appear to be both lower on average and more variable in Denver than 3 other cities. No, wait, Denver? Lower? No. The prices appear to be lower on average in Chicago. This question. What? Oh, so it's saying I got the first one right. And then Chicago's outliers. Brian needs his coffee. Does presence of outliers affect your decision? You gotta be kidding me, says no. I'm gonna go in and delete this question right now. I'm just straight deleting this question. This is one of the worst questions. Sorry, I know I say this every once in a while, but no. Those outliers down here are going to dramatically impact, especially with an extreme outlier right here. And it's talking about the prices, and then it talks about average right here. This is not a good question. The first part is true, and that was the easy part right here. So it's saying the presence of outliers does not affect our overall conclusion. No. This question is literally getting banned as we speak. So let's go ban this question. And I'm going to take a screenshot here and send it to Terry. Tell him I'm destroying this question. We're out here destroying the dreams of the question. So... Stat 201, Chapter 4. Outliers don't impact? The question says outliers don't impact. What? Alright. This is question number 10. Bye-bye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Cities. So replace question. That one is just so dumb. Alright, I think I've done it now. Alright, it's done. It's out. Question is gone. Question no more. That question, wow. I know, that it just did not make sense at all. Like, you're telling me outliers don't impact our decisions about, like, there's some extreme outliers in that? No. Question gets banned. I can do that. I got the power. Oh, man. Well, hopefully no one has to go and check out that question now. Make sure the assignment's updated here, which should be. I'm going to make sure it updated. Then we're going to look at some 474. Then we'll do some... are we doing Canvas content chapter 3 and 4? Chapter 3 and 4. want to talk to my Pearson and say, like, who wrote that question? Oh, who wrote that question? The question was ridiculous. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure it's banned. Ban that question. Awesome. We'll do some canvas content coming up here in a moment. It is banned. Question's been banned. Okay, so making graphics. Okay, let's get started here on some making graphics. Question gets banned. Let's go check it out. Here we go. Awesome. Time to make some graphics. So when we're making graphics right here, I've seen a lot of people doing like a line thing, but here's the thing. So are they still here? 474. Colin's here, and then we had another Peyton here. Peyton, have you already created your vector? Because you can just go and go plot num purchases, and it'll plot it for you. So you can get your plot just like that by doing plot the vector. So if you want to make a graphic, you can just go plot of it, and it'll plot it. Now we can make it look a lot nicer here. And I wouldn't do this inside your loop. I wouldn't do this inside your loop because then you're going to be plotting it multiple times. Just plot it outside the loop. So with this, we can get a plot very quickly with just the plot function, but we're going to make this look nicer right here. So to make it look nicer, let me say GG line plot. Okay, GG line, pub R. Okay, so I'm going to go to library, GG pub R, and GG line plot. And takes the data. So let me see right here. It's not going to run with this, is it? That's not what we want. Oof. No, we don't want that kind of graphic. Wait, here it is. I want this. So it's doing the following. And it's storing as a data frame. Oh, but it's over that. Oh, so we need the two things. Okay. So we'd actually have to use it as a data frame, but we're going to make it look really pretty right here. So in our data frame, we would actually need the y variable is going to be this, which is what we have here, and the x is going to be 1 through the length of the vector. And now, when we go to our GG line, we can go to y comma x data equals data frame, and let me double check. Oh, we got to put the variables in. So it's first thing is data frame, and then inside of it, and I hate that you have to do these in quotes, y comma x. I might be reversing these. There we go. Woo! Craziness right there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, interesting how it has that pattern throughout here. What in the world? That's very unnoticeable. So this right here is giving us a little bit nicer of a plot. I know you say it might not say it looks nice, but I promise you if you use yours right here, and I'm going to do the following plus geom title right here. Nope. Geom title. GG title. That's what I was thinking of. GG title. There we go. Now it says hello, and let's go here to easy center title. Oh, I don't have my GG easy on. Library. GG easy. There we go. So easy center title. And there we go. Now it's centered it. Hello, this is my title. And so now it's got that right there. So you might be wondering why we might do something like this. Well, if we're going to pay off a loan right here and we get our loan vector. So let's say loan amount. Now this is not what you would have right here. What's the easiest way to graph? I'm just putting in values to kind of show how it would work. What's the easiest way to get this plotted? Can anyone tell me if I'm tracking my loan and I'm paying it off, what's the easiest way to just plot my loan amount? I think a lot of people are overcomplicating it like I did. What's the easiest way to plot? Maybe I forget to make a payment here. What's the easiest way to plot? And I'm just asking the question repeatedly. What's the easiest way to plot the amount that is on my loan? And I just want to plot it. So, well, kind of, Amanda, that is true. And we'll do that here in a second. But what's the easiest way? So good answers, Amanda. 100 points. Keep it up. What's the easiest way to just plot it? I can't, for some reason, do it today. What's the easiest way to just plot it? What's the easiest way to just plot it? So that's my loan amount. I just want to plot my loan amount. What is the easiest way to just plot it? What's the easiest way to just plot it? So all I want to do is just plot the loan amount. What's the easiest way to just plot the loan amount? What's the easiest way to just plot it? What's going to be the easiest way to just plot it? Don't overcomplicate it to start. Get it working in a simple fashion, then we can go complex. Pretty much, and kind of, and great job, Meath, right there. All we're going to do is just go plot loan amount, and there you go. Does that make sense? Plot loan amount, and there you go. Now, this is the complicated. This is the easy way. This is the easy way right here. This is the complicated. Now, complicated allows us to do a lot cooler of stuff. We're going to take right here and create a data frame where we have the x variable equal to the length of the vector, and the y variable is equal to the thing we want to understand. You have to have the following things running. You need to have running. We'll remove out this stuff here to start. So this is just our practice. And then down here, you need to have the following libraries running: pub_r, which is where ggline is at. And then for easy center title, you have to have ggeasy. So make sure you've installed .packages, those libraries, if you want to do the more advanced way that I'm doing right here. So now we're creating a data frame, which is just an Excel spreadsheet of the following values of our loan over time. So with that Excel spreadsheet created right there, we can just do a plot, and it looks a bit nicer. Just take a look at the two differences between these graphics, and you can automatically see it looks a good bit nicer. And there's ways to do this natively in R2, but look at what I've done. You say, Brian, you've done what right here? There should be a very apparent error in what I've done. What is the very apparent error in what I've done right here? I wouldn't turn this into somebody right now. What is the very, very apparent error? Thoughts on the error I have? Well, it is decrease. Well, it's going down, right? but look at when you think about this right here. I have to do a fix. What would you say, Brian? You got to fix something. So we had it working right here, because take a look at this graphic. So what's the problem right here? So here's what we want. What's the problem? X and Y are switched, so why don't we go in here and just go right here and put the X first and then the Y, and there you go. Now it's looking a lot better, right? Now watch this. Plus labs, X equals time. There you go. And then comma, Y equals amount on loan. There you go. How much better does our graphic look from here to here? Does that look a lot better right there? How is that looking right there? Looking a good bit better, just going from graphic default R code, graphic right here. I think it's a world of like much better graphical displays, and we could probably even do a little bit more with the GG because we can easily change the color or the point style. So we could go right here to inside of it. Just think of the best thing to do to it. Oh, there's so many things. We just don't have multiple points at one spot. Let's go here and say color equals hashtag FF8200. Get a little UT orange on there right there. And so you could change the points, you could change the line color, all these different things right here. If you just want to make it orange, but it's not UT orange, you could just say orange right there. Just the small little change between it, because that's UT orange. You make it whatever color you want. You could even make it when it's above, make it red. You can make it green, whatever you want. You could do the same thing with the plot up here by going to the argument col. It should be col, right? I think it's col. And that's the color of the points. I think you can also go line style, or is it... It's a style? I gotta remember the argument. Generic XY plotting base function. Here it is. type. It's type is what it is. It's type equals. See, it doesn't autocomplete. I hate that. There's a line. So we can do a lot of similar things. So here is the more advanced. Here is the less advanced. Once again, it just makes it look a good bit nicer. One last thing I like about this is you can literally go here and do the following. Library GG themes. So make sure you have that installed. So GG theme. There we go. What is it? It's theme. There it is. Themes. So now themes are quick changes that you can make to this that change the way it looks. So a theme allows you to get it to look like base R code right there. Or you could go to theme something like Stata and it'll look like that. But you can easily go between the themes right here. There's even 538 or whatever it is. Where's 538? Transparent. There's ooh, we don't want that. But I love with the themes right here, theme black and white. Ooh, that's not too bad, right? There's like a theme economic or something. There's theme economist, not a good theme. But you can just easily transition between these themes right here. I think there's an Excel theme. You can make it look like Excel. But I just love all the things you can instantaneously do with this. Just changing it. Theme Cleveland. That's not too bad. So pretty neat, pretty easy to use if you ask me. But if you want, make your graphics look nice and neat. Making graphics look good is something we want to help people do. And there is how we can get the loan paid off over time. Amanda, Colin, how is that looking? I think Peyton was asking about this too. Is that making more sense about making your graphic look good? You can just use the default. So once again, if you just go right here and plot it, get it working right there. So we went from a graphic that looked like this to our final product of a graphic looking like this here. This is still just the same thing being plotted for you, just in a much nicer sense right here, going between the two of these. Just a good bit. Oh, it took off my Y title right there. So technically, I want to go over here and do the theme, and then I want to add on to it my labs. Ooh, it's deleting my Y label? How dare you, Theme Cleveland. Theme Cleveland, you're gone. No more Theme Cleveland. It's taking away my Y titles, so I don't like that. So with this, any other questions about this? How are people doing on the 474 assignment? It's a little bit of work getting it going. We haven't talked about the while loop or the for loop here. I just made up a fake loan vector right here with the information in it. How are people doing? Let me know if you have questions. Meet, you doing all right? Amanda, you doing all right? Colin, you doing all right? How are people doing? We still got like 23 minutes. A lot of trial and error. Yes. That's what we want right here is we want people working through, trying it, seeing if it works. Notice how I built this. How many times did I run my code while building that graphic? Getting there, nice up, Shreya. How many times did I run my code while building that graphic? Here's where I was building the graphic. Did I write everything out and then run the code one time? No. I know, right? So I try to incorporate that because we can do some really great graphical displays. We can make things look nice and pretty right here. So I did a little bit of some GG packages, which are the grammar of graphics. Really awesome packages, and pubrs for publishing your graphics. GG Easy makes it easy, and then themes just let you change the way it looks. So really, when you get down to these GG functions right here, they make using ggplots a lot easier, way easier to do like a geom line plot right here, a GG line plot. ggplot is huge wins right there. So great job. This is how to make nice plots, but do remember, if you just want to see if it works, see if it plots it out. If it plots it out, you're good. You could use the base functions, which we did earlier, or you could go advanced with ggplots, and I've got the code right there to turn it into a data frame, then to run it. If I would check my data frame to make sure it's creating the vectors, so make sure it has the vectors being created for you right there. So check out the code, make sure it's working. With that, let's do some Canvas content. Okay. It is time for I'm going to do this one. We don't do this one that often. Okay, Canvas content time. Let's go over here. Stat 201. Canvas content. Stat 201. Stat 201. Canvas content. Number 2. Woohoo! Nice. Great job, Leah, right there. Last sip of coffee. assignments. Looks like the data analytics is getting graded. And Canvas content, number 2. Preview right over here. And let's jump into it. Here we go. Okay, so we're on Canvas content number 2. Outliers in a box plot are always this many IQRs above Q3 or below Q1. This is a number you need to know, and I'm going to ask you it in a different way by quizzing you to ask you on this box plot. Let me change the numbers because it's a little tougher right now. On this box plot, where would outliers begin? So see if you can solve for me. Outliers on the high side of this box plot would be where? So try to solve the question. If you know how to solve it, this is a tougher way of asking it. Great job, Leah, there on the 1.5. So where would high outliers begin on this box plot? If you can answer this question, you really understand it. You understand the problems in depth. Where would high outliers begin? So first off, find out what the IQR is. What is the IQR of this box plot? You can see it here visually. So what is the IQR of this box plot? The IQR of this box plot is how much? What is the IQR, which is the length of the box? It's 2. So now we need to go up 2 or 1.5 IQRs, right? So where would outliers begin? Because if we go up here, there's an invisible fence. So where do high outliers begin? There's a fence somewhere around here, which it's 1.5 IQRs above it. There's an invisible fence that gets erased. Where do high outliers begin? So there's an invisible fence, 1.5 IQRs below Q1 and 1.5 IQRs above Q3, excuse me. There's an invisible fence. And where is that invisible fence? We don't see it. It's removed in the final product. It's at 7. Great job, Shreya, right there. It's at 7. That's because the mathematics right here would be the IQR times 1.5 is 1.5 IQRs, which is 3. So we go up 3 units. So it's going to be at 7, would be at 7. So if I go right here and I put this right at 7, it'll sit right on the fence and not be an outlier. But if I change it to 7.01, it is an outlier. Does that make sense? Where there's an invisible fence you don't see right here. There's an invisible fence right there. So if it's sitting on the fence, we say it's not an outlier. But if it's right beyond the fence there, it is an outlier. Does that help make sense of it, Leah? You don't see the invisible fence. They are deleted in our final product. In the final product, the invisible fences go away, and they define for us where outliers are. So you don't see them in the final product. They're just there to tell us, at least when we're drawing our box plots or understanding theoretically, that if a point is on the fence or inside the fence, it's not an outlier, which the fence is here at 7 because it's 1.5 IQRs above Q3. And down here at the bottom, we could check the lower fence. Where would the lower fence be? Where would the lower fence be? So see if you can solve for where the lower fence would be on this. Now remember, you need to go to Q1, which is right here. You can see it up there in the data. It's the bottom of the box plot. And you need to go 1.5 IQRs below Q1, which we don't currently see on the screen. You need to go 1.5 IQRs below Q1. So where would that be? The lower fence would be where? The lower fence in this data would be where? -1, great job, Leah, right there. So if I change this data point to -1, it's just going to extend the whisker. But if I change it to -1.1, well, now that point is outside, and you see right here. Now this right here is where Q1 is, but there's no data in this region. If you notice, between 2 and -1.1, there's no data, and that's why there's no whisker. This might change the box dramatically, and it did. I thought it could because we have a very small data set. So that actually changed the quantiles up here, so it changed the way the box looked. But this box, which has not changed, still has an IQR of here, and then has 2 outliers. But look, there's gaps between 4 and 8. 4 and 8, there's a gap, and gap between 2 and -1.1. Now, if we put 1 right here, that is no longer, excuse me, well, if we put 1, that'll no longer be an outlier. Or we put -1, it's no longer an outlier, and the whisker extends. That doesn't mean there's data inside of here. It just means the data goes up to here. So the answer to this question is 1.5. That is the distance that outliers are above Q3 or below Q1, which are the edges of the box plot defining the IQR. When comparing histograms, they should have the same horizontal axis. Now, this is not the only thing they should have, but we're not trying to trick you right here. We're not like my Pearson. Not today, my Pearson. When we compare histograms, if we were to have here 2 groups, so we go right here and we have group A versus group B. So let's call this group. Histograms should always what? Histograms should always... Whoa. Histograms should always have what? Because maybe I ask a 25 question test and I say, which class did better, group A or group B? Histograms should always have what? Oops, I want to go to analyze distribution. Histograms should always have what? Because which class did better, A or B? Oh, look at that. A did better. Look at A, way above B. What is Brian doing here? How is Brian trying to trick you? Now we should have count axes on these to do it proper displays. So there we go with some count axes. The count axes both, what do you notice right here? What's wrong about this? So look, A did way better because A is way above. A is way up there on the right side. Yes, and we want to make sure both scales are the same. Technically both scales, but we want to make sure we put them on the same axis. So we want to go here to the following, go to uniform scaling, and there you go. We need to uniform scale this one too, though. There we go. So now that it's got uniform scaling, and preferably I would put these both on the same right here. You can actually double click these a lot of times, but we could just do this. So you can go right here to get more exact, but that's close enough right there. So now these are very comparable, and you can compare the two and say, you know, where the differences are at. It's very apparent now that B is above A. So what do you think, true or false? Histograms should have the same horizontal axis. So that way we can compare them evenly. They should have the same horizontal axis. True or false right there? What do you think? Very true. Very true. Now we're looking at Marvel superheroes right here, and we want to know the probability a Marvel superhero has the ability to fly. Now, if we only look at Marvel superheroes, we are talking about a what distribution? If we only look at Marvel superheroes, I'm asking you, only consider the Marvel superheroes. So I'm asking you to set a what? Now, the other data... It doesn't matter! Rocky seems so quiet right there. The other data would not matter. So I'm asking you to set a what for this? It's a hint for how to answer it. I'm asking you to set a what by saying, consider only the Marvel superheroes. I'm asking you to set a what? What are you setting by saying only consider the Marvel superheroes? Or the way the question is worded, it says, what percent of the Marvel superheroes? So this is of only the Marvel superheroes. What percent of Marvel superheroes? So we're only looking at Marvel superheroes can fly. So this is called a what distribution? And 320 has been covering this too. It starts with a C. And the answers, like, I don't know, are perfectly fine answers. But it starts with a C, meaning we're setting a this to talk about the data. Starts with a C. Not what you use in your hair. We're setting a... like, oh... It's what? It's a what distribution? Not constrained. Well, yeah, kind of, Amanda. Kind of a constraint conditional. It is a constraint. Good, Amanda, 500 points right there. It is a constraint, and we call it a conditional distribution, which is setting a constraint. So you're saying of only the Marvel superheroes, what percent of them can fly? So what would be the math here? Of only the Marvel superheroes, what percent of them can fly? Or if someone's a Marvel superhero, what's the probability they fly? What would be the math? Hey, Brian, do you know where I can find help for 320? I emailed you prior, and the student you connected me with is trying to... just hop in here. No worries, Blaine. And definitely, and that's the thing is, yeah, no worries. That's definitely when whatever students want. I could try asking another student, but I don't know what rates will be. Thank you so much for asking, Blaine, and great work right there. You can ask any questions you want in here, Blaine. Just ask whatever you're wondering. We can work on work here. And yeah, no, that's the thing is, yeah, tutoring can be expensive. That's why I do this right here. So let me know what questions you have. Thank you for asking, Blaine. 100 points. Yep. It's definitely can be expensive, one-on-one tutoring. It is. I've heard people do as much as like $100 an hour. It's it can get expensive. So Here we go. It's got to 2 decimals, right? There we go. Yeah, of course. Just to drop the questions in here. Say, hey, Brian, can you work on this? Can you explain this? That's how we do it for office hours. Below is a contingency table of students who were born, whether they're born in Tennessee and whether they're an honor students. What is the probability of a student born in Tennessee being an honor student? So does this sound conditional or marginal? What is the probability of a student who is born in Tennessee? I wish it said who is born in. You guys, a little more clarity. What is the probability of a student who is born in Tennessee being an honor student? Now, this is a commonly missed question right here. I'm glad we got it. Yeah, it might sound marginal, but we're saying a student who is born in Tennessee. What is the probability of a student who is born in Tennessee? So that means if you're born in Tennessee, so this one is conditional because it's if you're born in Tennessee, what's the probability of you being an honor student? So what would be the math here? What would be the math here? What is the probability of a student born in Tennessee being an honor student? What is the probability of a student born in Tennessee? Great job, Lee, right there. And does that make more sense when I highlight it that way? These are the students born in Tennessee, which I've highlighted in blue right and yellow. And then being an honor student is highlighted, circled right there. Makai asks, quick question for assignment number 2. Does the message if the user has a card limit of 500 months mean that we're checking for remaining balance? Let me double check the assignment. Let me double check right there. Good question, Micaiah. Before I say something, I want to double check. Good questions. Down here we have a contingency table. What percent were neutral? So nothing about this. Is that setting a condition or is that asking for all the data, which is marginal? So what percent were neutral? So no worries, no worries. I'll take a look here. I'll take a look here in a second. Makai, you got it. We'll deal with next. Is this conditional or marginal? What percent of people were neutral? Does that sound conditional or marginal? What percent of people were neutral? Conditional or marginal? Great job, Leah. And so great job, Leah's got the math in the chat. Leah, have you gotten that 100? Or do you have another question? Is there another question you have? Make sure to do the decimals the way it wants. I think we're nice about it. But double check and make sure to have it right there. Submit the quiz. What on chapter 4 quiz? Let me know, Shaq. What on chapter 4 quiz? We've done a lot of them today and yesterday. Let me know. We're getting close to the end of office hours. We'll see if Leah has any more questions on this, and we'll go to Micaiah's question right now. Sugar is a major ingredient. We might not have time to get to that one, but we did that one yesterday, I think. So check it out. We have the sugar as a major ingredient. I think we did that yesterday in either afternoon or morning. But check it out. Good questions right there, Shaq. Thank you so much. We didn't do the one about the children in a class. I'm going to take it. Just wanted to practice. Yeah, good practice. I see the same question as Micaiah. Let's check it out. But we see you in. Yeah, no. Let's go check it out. Let's go do that one here. Good question, Micaiah and Katie right there. I saw looking for something else. Yeah, let's check it out. Let me see. You're welcome, of course. Thank you so much. We try 320. Where are you at, 320? So this is VS 1274. Messages and stops. Okay, let's go check it out. Here we go. That's the... Okay. Let's take a look right now. Our goal is to help investors understand the value of their money in the future. So you're asking about, does the message, if the user has a car loan over $5,000 a month? Okay. The loop should have the following breaks and messages. Break if the user does not input. Oh, yeah. So what preferably I would do, I'd probably only do it one time. What I would do right here, here's how I would code it. I'd go right here and have someone put in their loan. And you want to like track what somebody's loan is because this is the car loan one. So we want to go while, I'm just going to do this. Loan equals. So it's not that your loan amount is that, it's that your payment. So I should have said payment. So while yeah, let me double check. Second loop for the while loan, choose the variables while loop. Amount of the car loan, monthly payment, interest on the car loan. So car loan over $5,000 a month. So with this right here, your payment, yeah, my while loop is working, but I don't know about the message, where to put it in. So with this right here, let's go to loan and let's go to 8,000. And here we go. So now your payment, let's put in $400. And I should have said your payment, because you're making payments over $5,000 or so. Let's go to loan, position 1 of loan. What is loan position 1? It's just the first thing that's stored into loan. I'm going to pay off this loan right here. This is a huge hint for your assignment. What we'll do right now is I'm going to write to loan position 2. It's not quite what you have to do. It's very close. What needs to change about this right here? This is not quite, this is huge hints. But what needs to change about this? I'm writing part of it. For people who are stuck, this is huge. Well, we need some interest rate. Yeah, I haven't added that in. I do agree. But this code right here has a problem. Because right now, that's good. Like it. So what should I be... There's the problem right here. Exactly. So what should I add at the end of this right here? What do you think? What should I end at the end of it? So brackets position. Well, I want to take what I previously had. Where would that be at? I want to take what I previously had and subtract the payment and store that into my loan amount right here. So I want to take what I previously had, or where I'm currently at, and subtract the payment. Great job, right there. Yep. So that'll work right there. And then take a look. Does that make sense right there? How is that looking? Does that make sense what I did? Now I have a working prototype of what my while loop is going to do. So you have to think about when will this while loop stop? This while loop will, well, we could say, when is it going to keep running? This while loop will keep running if the last element, nice job, Leah, right there, great work. The while loop will keep running while the last element, maybe I'll make a component. The while loop will keep running while the last element is what? Greater than, how could I check the last element of the loan? How could I check the last element of loan? So the while loop will keep running while the last element of the loan. Tail of loan is 1. So tail loan 1 is the last element, is greater than or equal to 0. It's going to keep running. So it's going to keep doing this. So it's going to check this right here, i.e. the condition. So that's a pretty important component. And so one problem we have right here is with the while loop, if I assign this to I plus 1, and I assign this to I, is that when we're doing this, and I don't have every component right here, when you're doing this, the problem is I needs to what? I needs to what? I'm writing a lot of your while loop right now. I haven't written the interest thing. I haven't put the components in. These are some huge hints right here for everybody on office hours. But I haven't written everything out fully yet. But I'm doing it outside the while loop and showing it in theory. And then, but you want to make sure you get a car loan payment going down right here. We talked about graphing earlier, how to make some good graphics. So now the problem is what's going to happen with the while loop if I'm running this? Because if I'm running this code right here, what's the problem? What's the problem right now? And then, Makai, I'm going to answer your question specifically here. So I'd put, to Makai's specific question, if loan position 1 is greater than or equal to 5,000, then I'd do something like here. Does that make sense, Micaiah? I'd check the loan's initial amount. Does that make sense? If the initial amount of the loan is greater than or equal to this, but you have to be careful. We want to run that one time. So, exactly. And we should only have it. It's going to print it out a whole bunch of times. Could have it stop. Yeah, of course, I'm going to code. Oh, definitely. Because it goes down linearly, but when I plot it, only makes plot 1 point. And so, but with the plot, make sure to only throw in the plot right there. Don't have it print out the message 50 times because it doesn't have the positions now. Yeah, send it to me and I'll take a look. With this right here, and the position's not changing, so I can change the position by going here and storing into I plus 1. And now take a look. Well, here we'll run it with this. And now we'll run it with this. And guess what? It's doing it. And here's the thing. If you want to plot it, you can literally just plot it by doing a plot like that. No, I don't have the interest in here. I haven't put it in the while loop yet. That equation is just for logical purposes, right? Like our equation shouldn't include it. Yes, it should. Oh, it should. Yes. I don't want to do the full problem here, but I'm building the components of it right here. Yeah, no, this is not the full thing because you need interest rate and stuff like that. But basically, I don't want to solve the full thing, but you need to be able to see, like, how do I then put this in here? And then the plot of it can be done nice and quick like this right here. And we were talking about some much nicer plots over here to make it look like this. So check out the earlier part of the video if you want to see how to make some great plots. You're welcome. Great work right there. Awesome job, Katie. And then remember, we can just do some quick plots by doing this right here. So there's a difference between, do I want to make it look nice and pretty, or do I just want to get it plotted? You get the points for just plotting it. Yep. Awesome, Kai. That's what I was hoping. You can do an initial check. I'm just thinking we only want it to really check one time. So what you should do, we only want it to check one time. So my problem is I don't want your thing to print Discord. Oh yeah, Discord's super fast. No, seriously. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Leah. Yeah, Discord is the fastest, but no, we'll always welcome the emails. No, don't worry. Like, and thank you so much. I'm a huge fan of Discord, as you can't tell. I always look at the Discord messages because it's really easy to go back and forth communicate. Because email's a little bit slower, but still do some emails. Emails. Just thinking right here. I don't want it to print that message a whole bunch of times, like your loan is greater than 5,000. Nicole, good to see you here. Where's my if? If. Did I not write an if? Where's that loan greater than 5,000 condition? So if loan position 1 is greater than or equal to 5,000, then give someone Kata screen your loan. Too large. There we go. You're sitting 2 feet from Micaiah. Nice. 4 gangs all there. See, then you could change it. So what you could do, see, this gets into a really, we don't want a loan. Yeah. I was thinking payment. So small theoretical error in what Brian wanted when I wrote this, because like it does sound odd, right? What you could do now is you could code a loan, no message. And you could take and you could store loan into loan, no message. And then right here, you put that. And then you run your code right here on, but you want it to be loan, no message anyways. So you want it to do else anyways. Else store into loan, no message. It's only going to run that code the first time. So, but you could put that outside the loop anyways, because it's theoretically I wouldn't put it inside the loop. I code very interestingly. We didn't want a PMT above that. Yeah, it's so right here. Well, it's not paying off my loan is the problem right now. Loan minus payment. There's the iterator. And so I think your loan is too large, loan is too large, loan is too large. So it's still doing it. Oh, because I want loan no message. Whoops. Loan no message high. Okay. So let's start the loan. It's a little weird way of doing it. It's a big... Ah! What have I done? What have I done? Who knows what I've done right here? What have I done? What I've done is I've created an infinite loop. So what I should do is I should evaluate what's happening to loan no message. It's got a bunch of missingness. So it never wrote to the second position. So I need to run this outside my loop. So it never wrote to the second position. It just created an infinite loop right there. Because it has the first position and then it's not writing to the second position. Because should have... Oh, did I not start? Oh, you know what it is? I didn't reset I. Oops, not that. I like it. I like that I got a little problem here. That's always good. My I is increasing. It ran through 31,000. We got to start class in 10 minutes. I want to find out what's wrong with this. Maybe I shouldn't because, I mean, this is basically solving it. So, I mean, this is getting there, but it's a totally different way of doing it. I love doing things about 50,000 different ways. Maybe I'll show this at the start of class. So check out start of class right here. Oops. Let me get the start of class. Oh, we're starting in 20 minutes. Oh, we're fine. I'm not going to show the solution to this because this will kind of get it. But we're starting in 19 minutes. So let me put class in 19 minutes. Click here. Okay, there's the link. Let me send it out to only section 4. Got it. All right, so this is class in 20, right? So what's going wrong with this? Let's try to figure out what's going wrong. Oh, I know it's... Well, no. Okay, we got a few problems. Problem is with my condition right now because I shouldn't be checking the loan anymore. I've done this in a ridiculous fashion. Oh, but no, here's a problem too. Is because now every time it's also overwriting loan with loan here, so it's constantly overwriting it. So this is really bad. We are overwriting it every time. Every time this code runs, it's just overwriting it, and then it's running the remaining code, but it's always overwriting it. I've done this. Yeah, in truth, you shouldn't be doing this inside the for loop. I've done this in a ridiculous fashion. Yeah, this is... Petrie walks in here and he says, Brian, what have you done? He says, I revoke your... That's quote 288. Yeah, so the code every time is going to go in here and it's going to see that loan is this, and it's going to do this. So what we really want is to throw this outside the for loop and go right here with the if. If the loan is greater than this, your loan is too large. Else, we could say here, we don't even need to overwrite it. So go here and say, good loan. Okay, so now we get that right there. So I'd probably throw that outside of there. And if we go and look at the loan right here, let's try this. Whoop, there's payment. Okay. True, false needed. Loan doesn't have something, is it? Does it? We don't have a loan. Loan is 4,000. Good loan. Error, true, false. What? Oh, wait, loan? 4,000. Tail of loan. There we go. So, oh, okay. This is working now. Ooh, you know what we could do? We could fix it inside of here. Maybe we haven't done this in a ridiculous fashion yet. I don't. Let's fix the I inside. Oh no, we can't because then it'll reset every time. Oh, wait a minute. We could. Watch this. If loan. Wish the loop could know if it started, like if it like it's on first iteration. Like I wish it could tell how many times the loop has run. Can R tell code to tell how many times a while loop has run in R? I don't think there's a code for that. Well, you can count it yourself. So we could go right here. No. See, they're storing it outside. I don't want to store it outside, though. I just want a code that can tell it. I don't think there is, though. They're just storing counters outside. Like, I'll show you what I'm looking at. They're just doing what we do anyways. I wanted something that can just tell inside of R, like system time or something. What we need to do is we need to reset our I. There we go. There. Oh, see, we made a payment. So we want while is greater than. So there's a problem. Look at your outputs. There we go. Is that making sense right here? It's your favorite quote. I love it. But that's a little bit of a start to this. We did a lot of good work right here. We did some ridiculous stuff because we love doing ridiculous things. But that's got it paying off the loan right there, storing into different elements. I think a lot of people have had issues doing the iteration, like to get it to move to the next thing. Remember, we wrote this out by doing it in theory to do it in steps. This is not the full thing, obviously. You don't want to turn in all your work right here, but you want to create something that works and create your loop. You can do some really crazy fun things, but watch out because then you start exploding your code. You're welcome, Katie. Excellent work. And then we talked about the messages right here to get your messages to print good loan, or if your loan amount's a lot higher, your loan is too large or something like that. So understanding how ifs work and else's work. Discord me the code. Awesome, Micaiah. Here, I'll hop over to Discord. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.